All right, so here's the deal, man. We are living in a time that football fans 100 years from now are going to look back at and say, damn, that was the golden era because you've got two absolute freaks of nature, two legends who aren't just players. They're living myths going head to head for nearly 2 decades. And the craziest part, they're still doing it in 2025. Think about that. Most players are lucky if they get 5 good years at the top, maybe a little run where they're relevant, and then poof, they're gone. But these two, they've been dominating every conversation, every stat sheet, every fan debate since the mid 2000s. And here's the wild question. After all these years, after all the trophies, the goals, the records, the drama, who's the real GOAT right now? Is it Messi, the magician who finally grabbed that World Cup, the guy who makes football look like an art form? Or is it Ronaldo, the machine who's still smashing records and defying age like he's carved out of granite? That's what we're diving into today, man. Not just numbers, not just highlight reels, but the whole picture, legacy, impact, influence, because this isn't just about football. This is about greatness itself and figuring out what it really means. So buckle up because this conversation is going to get intense, and by the end, you might not even see the game the same way again. All right, so here's the thing about longevity and legacy when it comes to Messi and Ronaldo, man. It's just nuts. Because think about it, most players at 34 or 35, they're either washed up, retired, or they're just cashing in somewhere low key. But these two, they've been at the top for nearly 20 years, dominating, adapting, reinventing themselves like Messi. This dude was dribbling past 5 defenders in 2009, and now in 2025, he's slowed down a little, but he's still dictating the tempo, still pulling strings like a puppet master. It's like he transitioned from being the flashiest guy on the pitch to being the wisest guy in the room. Almost like a chess player, just moving pieces where he wants. And then Ronaldo, holy hell, this guy is literally redefining what an aging athlete can look like. He's almost 40 and he looks like a comic book character. He's not just hanging on, he's still banging in goals, breaking all-time scoring records, lifting his teams with sheer willpower, and that's legacy, man. It's not just what you do when you're young and at your peak, it's what you keep doing year after year when everyone expects you to fall off. It's showing up when the world has already written you off, and that's why both of them have this aura around them. Like Messi gave us the fairy tale World Cup moment, the crowning jewel, the poetic ending that nobody else could write. And Ronaldo gave us this living proof that discipline, obsession, and relentless drive can push human performance to superhuman levels. And when you stack all that up, their longevity becomes part of their myth. Like they've outlasted generations of challengers, guys who were hyped up as the next big thing and are already retired or forgotten. But these two are still here, still relevant, still shaping the game in 2025, and that's a different kind of greatness that goes beyond stats. It's legacy carved out of time itself. You know, when you talk about stats versus impact with Messi and Ronaldo, that's where the whole debate gets insane because on paper, Ronaldo is this freak of nature. The numbers are just absurd. The goals, the records, the international milestones. Like every time you think no one can touch that, boom, he adds another hat trick, another record, another achievement, and people look at the stats and say, that's greatness, man, those numbers don't lie. But then you watch Messi and you realize his greatness isn't just in the numbers, it's in the way he tilts the entire game by existing on the pitch. Like he can go 90 minutes without scoring and still be the most influential player out there. Because every pass, every touch, every little movement is like bending the game around him. And that's impact. That's the invisible stuff you can't always measure. You can't put vision, creativity, or the fear he puts into defenders on a spreadsheet. And it's wild because Ronaldo's impact comes from this overwhelming presence. He scores and the stadium erupts, the energy shifts, he demands the ball, demands attention, and the whole dynamic changes instantly. While Messi's impact is like this quiet storm, you don't even notice it until suddenly you realize he's been pulling strings the whole time and the other team is drowning. So the real debate is, do you value the cold hard stats that will live in the record books forever? Or do you value the artistry, the intangibles, the way someone can completely reshape a game without even padding his numbers? And that's why fans split down the middle, because one side says, look at the records, and the other, yeah, but did you feel that magic? And honestly, both sides are right. That's why it's so hard to pick one over the other, Man, when you look at the recent achievements of Messi and Ronaldo, that's where this whole GOAT debate gets even crazier because both of these guys, even deep into their careers, are still stacking accolades that most players would kill for in their prime, like Messi finally getting that World Cup in 2022. That was the holy grail, the one thing people held against him, and he delivered it in the most cinematic way possible, dominating the tournament, scoring in the final, lifting the trophy like some mythical ending to a story that already felt unreal, and that cemented his place in history on a level no one can touch. But then you flip it and look at Ronaldo. This dude at nearly 40 is still smashing records, all-time top scorer in men's international football, still banging in goals for club and country. And what blows my mind is the consistency, because while Messi gave us that one crowning achievement, Ronaldo is giving us this steady stream of holy shit moments where you realize he's not just surviving, he's still competing at a high level when everyone else his age has been retired for years. And you think about it, most players get one defining moment and hang on to it for life, but these two keep adding new chapters, like Messi winning the Ballon d'Or after the World Cup, still pulling strings in every match, still relevant at the highest level, and Ronaldo proving that longevity isn't just about showing up, it's about staying dangerous, staying fierce, staying productive. And it's so rare to see two guys this late in their careers still rewriting history books. So when people ask who's the GOAT right now, you can't ignore what they're still doing in 2020. These are active giants, still adding to their legacy in real time. When you talk about the different playing styles of Messi and Ronaldo, man, it's like comparing two totally different species who just happen to dominate the same planet, because Messi is this low center of gravity, left-footed magician who looks like he was born with a ball glued to his foot. The guy doesn't even look like he's trying sometimes, he just glides past defenders like water flowing around rocks. Everything about him is subtle, almost quiet, but then he'll slip a pass that splits a defense in half, or curl one into the top corner like it's nothing, and it's almost supernatural the way he sees the game, like he's processing angles and movements that regular humans can't even register, while Ronaldo is the complete opposite. He's power, precision, pure athleticism. It's like watching a machine built in a lab to score goals. He jumps higher than everyone, sprints faster, hits the ball harder, and when he scores it's like an explosion. The whole stadium feels it. His style is aggressive, commanding. He wants the spotlight. He thrives on pressure, and that's what makes him so terrifying, because he imposes himself on the game physically in a way Messi never does, and yet both are equally devastating, just in different ways. One is painting masterpieces with every the other is knocking down walls with brute force. So the crazy part is, their styles actually feed into the debate itself. Like, do you love football for the beauty and artistry, the guy who makes it look like poetry in motion, or do you love it for the intensity and drama, the guy who's a highlight reel of thunderous headers, screamers, and clutch goals? And that's why they split the world in half, because it's not just about who's better, it's about what kind of football you believe in. The cultural influence of Messi and Ronaldo is just off the charts, man. Because this isn't just about football anymore, this is about two guys who turned into global icons that transcend the sport. Like Messi, he represents this idea of the underdog genius, the small kid who wasn't supposed to make it, who beat growth hormone issue, who looked too tiny to play at the top level. And now he's this quiet, humble figure that millions of people around the world see as proof that talent and creativity can overcome anything. He's like an artist that every kid with a ball on the street looks up to, while Ronaldo is this other side of the coin. The guy who came from poverty, who built himself with insane discipline, who turned into a brand, a machine, a symbol of obsession and work ethic. And people love that too, because he's living proof that if you put in the hour, if you grind harder than anyone else, you can reach the very top. So culturally, they've created these two religions of football. Man, it's Messi fans versus Ronaldo fans, and it's everywhere. In schools, in offices, on Twitter, even in places where football isn't the main sport, you still see the jerseys. You still hear the debates, and that's wild, because most athletes don't cross into mainstream life like that. These two did. They became household names in countries that don't even watch football. They became marketing giants, social media kings, meme conversations at dinner tables, and their influence is so massive that even people who don't know the offside rule still have an opinion on who's better, and that tells you something, because cultural influence is when you're not just a player anymore, you're part of the fabric of global culture, and that's exactly what both of them are in 20. So here's the bottom line, man. After everything we've talked about, longevity, stats, impact, playing styles, cultural influence, trying to crown just one of these guys as the GOAT almost feels unfair. Because what we really got was this once-in-a-lifetime moment in history where two absolute aliens shared the same era and pushed each other to levels that maybe no one else will ever touch. And that's the real gift. Like, whether you're Team Messi or Team Ronaldo, you gotta admit that both of them gave us something that goes beyond football. They gave us moments, stories, arguments, goosebumps, and memories that people will be talking about for generations. And honestly, maybe the answer isn't even about who's better. Maybe the answer is that greatness has more than one form, and we were lucky enough to watch both forms at the same time, and that's insane when you really think about it. So if you're a kid growing up now, man, good luck, as you're probably never going to see another rivalry like this in your lifetime. And for everybody who's been here, who's argued, who's stayed up late watching games, who screamed at the TV, thank you, because that passion is what keeps the sport alive. That's what makes all of this worth it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which side you're on, Messi or Ronaldo, we all win because we got to witness it. So good luck to all of you out there chasing your own greatness. And thank you for riding this wild ride with us, because man, what a ride it's been.